Welcome back, everybody. I am the OP Leprechaun, and we are finally ready to make an actual build under here. I don't quite have all of the necessary materials, but I also I want to get started, you know? So today, right now, we are just going to go along and we are going to just do my outline for the build that I want to make. And we're going to see just how many blocks it is that we honestly need. I would normally do this in wool, but I also normally set up a auto sheep shearing farm way earlier than I have in this world right now. I think there's going to be a learning curve when it comes to this. This is actually something I'm really struggling with. I'm not 100% sure exactly what I'm going to do with this. I haven't really got that far in the planning. I've tried a couple of things and then I don't like it and I get discouraged and then I give up on it. And that is actually a real tropism of me, is just giving up on something because I get discouraged. Hence the beginning of this series, how long it has taken me to edit and get videos out. I got discouraged by a couple of things and then had some IRL stuff happen that really took a lot of my time away, and the urge to get back into doing this has been very, very rough. Okay, so that's going to be maybe not that tall. Probably about that tall. So like 22 blocks tall. So we'll call it every 3 of these is a stack. All the way around that. So I definitely don't have enough material yet to make this build. Definitely still, I'm going to be on the grind. So we're going to see what we can come up with. The whole idea behind this is it's going to kind of be Industrial Revolution era / like Victorian industrial, not slums, but just, you know, not a nice place, just not ugly. That is kind of the feel I'm going for. Gritty, grimy, working, you know, the place where all the work gets done. That is what my current goal is on this. My idea behind this is, so this is gonna be like warehouse style building. This one is gonna be more obviously taller. It's gonna kind of look like administration rather than warehouse. This is gonna be a factory floor. That's gonna be warehousing. This is actually going to be smokestack. I'm trying to go for kind of city, worn down, industrial revolution, brick, and but I don't like the bricks in Minecraft. I really don't. They're too bright red. I mean, I have a whole shulker box of them over here, and I'm going to use them here and there. Oh, that's the granite. But see, they're so bright red. They're so bright red. I want some yellow-eyes. You know, like, you know, they're not orange, they're not red, they're just kind of orangey yellow, like in real life. Yeah, the colors are just so sharp. The mushroom block I'm going to like a lot of. I'm going to be using that. I've got a ton of packed mud that I can turn into stuff with the stone cutter here. So I'm going to give this a whirl. Let's start making this build. So let's start building. We'll catch up with you guys when the building is in progress. And off we go to the races. Alright, we have the basics of our structure in now. I'm trusting the process on this. I've seen so many people recommend doing a solid baseline of something else. I'm trying really hard to just go with the flow and see how it turns out. My original design for this had a little more manufactured structuring to it. I'm going to try really hard to avoid that. Again, way outside my personal comfort level. I'm trying new stuff all the time when I'm building these things. I mean, I have used the terracotta and granite stuff before. We're going to go with it. We're going to stick with hoping that our color selection does not look too out of place when it comes time for the finished product, and I swear I actually do know how to place blocks. So I definitely like that look. It needs to have a little something more to go with it, which I will get to. I do have to be a little careful with how much higher I go, making them spawnable blocks, because I don't want to get too close and have the golem start spawning over here. That is definitely something that I need to avoid. I'm going to take a couple of stacks of regular granite, and we're going to start peppering some of that in here. So we're going to see how this looks. Not too bad, honestly. That looks pretty good indeed. And then we're going to take a couple more patches of this right up in here. So on this build, it's going to be the terracotta and the granite. Oh yeah, I like that. So far, I'm liking how this is turning out. We'll figure out windows and stuff in this build here after I get the basic shaping done. Okay, so we got a little bit of progress here. I mean, it'll obviously look better once the scaffolding is out of the way and once we have some real lighting in there. But if we get a nice angle on it here, we can definitely see... There we go. There's a little better texture on it. So we're going to do just a real simple... barn type roof, just a little bit of a slope across here. We're not going to make it really pitched or really angled. So let's finish off the, it's the word I'm looking for, finish off the crenolines? I mean, I guess you could call them crenolines. Looks kind of castle-like, but at the same time, it's not going to once I put the, like, barn roof dome slash thing on it. So, let's get on with that. See, different shapes of roofs. I'm still desperately trying to figure that stuff out. I am not good at visualizing, enacting, I should say, what I'm visualizing. I know exactly what I want, but trying to figure out how to make it work within the game of Minecraft and then have it look the way I intend. That is the part that I am still struggling with a little more than I wish I was. Okay, yeah, I'm definitely liking that a little bit better here. So I'm going to go ahead and finish off the other side of the roof and throw down some lichen, and we will come back when we've got that far and see how we finish this one off with some windows and some lighting. Well, welcome back. So here is what I have come up with. This little barn roof. These I am not completely done with yet. I really like how this one turned out with the bushes underneath, and as you can see, my light levels are still really good around here, partially because of the frog lights behind the windows, but also partially because if you go down there, there are frog lights under moss carpets, but you cannot tell from looking outside the bushes. For right now, I need to grab some scaffolding, and we're going to do one other type of window right here. Okay, so we're going to go like this. I go 2 blocks in, and we're just going to go all the way across the top of here, just kind of like one narrow window. So, there we go. New and improved, brand new building around the honey farm. Hey, we got one done. One build out of the things that I've been promising to build. I kind of like it. I really do. There's enough texturing in there without it being overdone, I think. I think that's a huge part of the problem I was having with the creative world that I was trying to do this in. Was I was overthinking it. I was trying to build it like people that I watch on YouTube. I can't build like them. I just can't. I don't have the depth of understanding. I don't have the perspective that they do. Well, next we're going to start on the iron farm. Now, the difficulty of the iron farm is it needs to be tall enough to encompass the iron farm, but it also needs to be spawn-proof so that the iron golems don't spawn on it while I'm working on it. Got a little progress going here. Not not sure if I like the height of this. It's definitely tall enough, because I definitely don't want this one being too much taller. I mean, obviously this one is way taller. So up top here, we did a little bit of, not quite crenellation, but kind of matriculation? Kind of? It's mainly just to make this completely spawn-proof. I'm going to add a little bit of glow lichen up here. I need to get rid of that torch. So yeah, so I made almost tower-like, but then in here, everything should still be good. I gotta get... Actually, no, none of that is going to be spawnable, so really honestly, once I get this part over here, get the cap on the roof on, get what kind of texturing over here I'm going to get to make these non-spawnable. All this has to be, these little corners here, that all has to be completely non-spawnable, and we are for sure going to get there very shortly here. Alright, on this level, I think we're going to keep it, honestly, pretty simple here. We're just going to kind of keep it the same general idea as the one next door, with the crenellations separating the roof from the wall, but at the same time I don't want it the same. So we're going to play around a little bit with mud bricks in the corners and some walls and things like that. And we'll back off and take a look at it. And, you know, see what she looks like. Finish it with a couple of stairs, and I think that should be good. Yeah, that breaks it up nice. Doesn't really make it flamboyant, doesn't really change it up all that much, but it just kind of breaks it up a little bit, adds a little bit of shape and contrast to it. Yeah, I think we'll go with that. So we'll just repeat that all the way around. Alright, well, with the trapdoors added on there, those are now non-spawnable spaces. It's hard to see it past the scaffolding at the moment, but I think that's going to end up being pretty cool. You got to get some more texturing in, obviously. I think that's going to end up being pretty nice. Okay, so I think that's going to be our palette. We're going to bring, especially right next to this red building here, we're going to bring a little bit of the granite, but not too much. And we're just going to stick with this kind of blotchy, kind of feeling like I'm going to get rid of some of this right here and maybe sprinkle in a little more of the iron ore and lose the stone. Okay, that is going to be the roof over the mud farm. Fill this up with glass. Probably going to stain it gray. I'm actually being fairly enthused with how this build is turning out. Gonna need to probably add some glow lichen here and there just to make it a little bit more visible in the deep dark here. But yeah, from there, I really like how this is turning out. What do you think? Should I fill this in? I think I'll do... Should I fill this in with glass on this side as well? Or should I fill it in solid block? I'm not 100% sure. We'll figure that out. I'm going to fill in the rest of this real quick with mud brick. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. And there we have the roof on this section done. I ended up going with the gray glass, not the black. I kind of want to go with the black. It might make it look a little sootier, or if I eventually find an amethyst, I will maybe swap it out for the tinted glass, so I can see through it, but you don't actually get any of the light levels coming through. So we ended up making this just a diagonal roof across. Kind of looks, you know, like one of those industrial buildings. Nothing too fancy or exciting about it, but we did get this nice little alleyway here, which I think is a little overgrown when it comes to the rest of the build. I don't know that I'm going to leave it like this. where it's just all the shrubbery all the way around. I might end up going for some like coarse dirt or some gravel on the ground, kind of make it a little more back alley desolate, not so much a thing to look at. So some of the detail blocks we ended up going with was I included some Junglewood buttons to just kind of give it the idea, kind of adobe building, kind of something like that. We ended up sticking with our packed mud and a few of our mud bricks sprinkled in here and there. I might do a little more detailing with it later on, but more so up there. I've got a lot of work to do up there that is not necessarily my favorite view of this now that I have it done and I've looked at it for a while. I'm not actually going to go into the shaders in this episode because, believe it or not, this build actually looks way worse in shaders than it does in regular gameplay, because in the shaders, literally all you can see is the glow lichen. Everything else is dark, 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 and then it just glows like crazy. So, going to be updating a little bit about this build later on, once I have more idea of what I want to do with it. But for now, it turned out pretty good. I'm pretty pleased with it. Pretty pleased with the two builds that I got done on this episode. They are definitely of a style together without being identical. And that's kind of what I wanted to go with. One thing I definitely know I want to do is I want to intersperse a little more granite in here with the packed mud. I ended up not doing a whole bunch of that, but for a pretty simple door frame, you know, nothing fancy, just makes it look like it's a bordered door. And in here, I've done literally nothing. I have done literally nothing. It is just wide open, lichen farm, glowberry farm, mud farm, iron farm. There is no interior whatsoever to this build, and I don't know that there ever will be. We'll see. We'll see what I end up doing with the exterior of the building, because I am going to be, like I said, I want this from the outside to look much more like an administration-style building, having, like, offices and stuff, so there will be some windows and some lighting added into this that I don't currently have. So with the need to make all of that, you know, non-spawnable, I will definitely just see what I come up with from there. But as we can see, the iron farm is running, and it runs good. Nothing has spawned outside of this area for golems, so we're going to call that a win. I did apparently an okay job. So there we go. There's the two builds we got done in today's episode. I think they both turned out pretty okay. I like that they are... They're of a style together without being identical. They have some of the same detailing blocks, the same detailing ideas, like the crenellations up there around the sides on both sets of builds, but they're not the same. They're slightly different from each other, but give you the same general idea. Definitely going to look forward to when I find something to do with that mob spawner up there. That is still something that I am pondering how to make look good. Sorry for this being a little bit of a shorter video, especially since it's the most building I've done in this entire series so far. You would think that I would have made it a longer video, but here's the deal with it. I had a lot more footage. I had a lot more ideas of wanting to explain the build and this and that, and I'm really bad at trying to explain a build and explain a thought process as I'm doing things. It's definitely not my forte. And I also have a really bad habit of being very discouraged with myself for not being able to get an exterior build to turn out the way that I am envisioning it, like the idea behind what I want doesn't come across visually. I could describe it with words all day long, but getting it to visually resemble what I have going on in my brain is not I get very discouraged and I get very negative. And one of the things about the episodes that I've done on this series is they've all been really chill, you know, really hanging out, playing Minecraft, not being too stressed about things. And that is kind of the direction I want to keep going with this series and to keep going with this channel. So the amount of cutting footage that I did, because it was so much of me talking down about myself and talking down about the builds. I felt like I didn't really want that to be what this episode was about. I felt like I wanted this episode to be more about, hey, look, I actually managed to get a couple of builds done, and I think they turned out pretty cool. It's definitely something that is outside of any kind of building style that I normally do. It's definitely something that's outside of my comfort zone, and that's kind of the point of doing it. But at the same time, doing it in a way that it is positive is a lot harder for me, because I have a lot of doubts about my abilities to make this into what I want it to be, because I don't know how to. You know what I mean? So we're going to cut this one short. We're going to come back with some more builds later on. We're going to come back. We got a lot of episodes coming up. We are getting closer and closer to being caught up with real time and getting to show you guys what I've been working on in much more recent times, especially leading up to my conversion of this world to 1.21. Once again, my name is the OP Leprechaun. Thanks for coming back and watching another episode of The Perfect Grove. Throw a comment or a like on there. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Definitely would appreciate any kind of comments, any suggestions, conversations about ideas of things that I could try. It would be much appreciated. But once again, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye!